Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another scene set in Livermore to Darkness, Rage Across New York. Tonight, we set this scene on the steps of the Green, as we normally do, with Chugaru, who have decided to hang out for the day, to get something to eat, have a chat, and they're probably just getting a bite to eat in the Kinfolk restaurant right now at St. Belvedere's.
The Roy is very happy that he is about to eat in a restaurant, and he enters this place with like a smile. He looks around and like spots Jacob, and he's like, "Ah, hello, Brian. Hello."
Hey man, how's it going? Haven't seen you in a while.
We didn't see each other for a while, but yeah, I'm fine. I'm like trying new things, trying to be happy as best as I can, and same old, same old. How are you?
Pretty good. Um, I've been looking into a lot of events recently.
Mm-hmm.
Regarding
That
our
woman?
friends. Pardon?
That woman?
Yeah, I've put some people on it. I think they're still getting back to me though. Uh,
That's kind of what happens to me.
yeah, I've gone around. I've asked Marlene, see if she knows anything. Um,
I don't know who's Merlene.
oh, Marlene's she's a kin under Micah.
It's I try to check these guys' families, but like, if it's taking this much, there's always something going on.
Mm,
It's like that takes a lot of time. This takes a lot of time for some reason.
yeah, I'm getting a little bit concerned. I might check up on I might check back up on them. I've also been trying to help out a member of my own tribe, Ksenia. I haven't seen her in ages though. We were trying to help each other out and build up kind of uh, a little. I guess you could call it network.
Mm-hmm.
Have our own respective organizations kind of bounce off of each other and create something mutually beneficial. But I haven't heard from her in a very long time, so I don't know if she's just left or if she's just kind of laying low.
I literally have no idea. I don't know who's Ksenia.
Yeah, that's part of the problem. She's a Galliard. Um, my tribe, Cliff, kind of who hung out with her a bit. She does music. She's a musician. But I haven't seen or heard from her in a very very long time. So I don't really know what's happened to her. Also been trying to get myself into a better position with the rest of the force. Um, really trying to centralize police work around my precinct. I'm trying to organize a meeting with the chief about it, but haven't got word back yet.
I think it will be very beneficial if you actually can centralize the police.
Yeah, I also want to get in good with the chief because I don't really know where he stands in our little thing.
Maybe
And I
he
need to
stands
know if
for
he's on
money.
the right side or not. He hasn't done anything to necessarily move against us, but he hasn't really done anything to help us either. So I don't really know if it's just because he doesn't know, so of course he can't do anything, or if it's because he's being influenced by someone else to do nothing. Because there are a fair few dirty captains under his watch. I mean, I got rid of one. I don't know how many more there are. I'm currently looking into the guy that runs Washington Heights. I know someone there, and she's good. She's reliable, but I want to make sure that the person she's working for is on the right side of the law, as it were.
What do you know about the Underworld, Raya?
I have people who tell me things about it. I have quite a few people nestled down under there. I'll ask him for you. See what the current state of affairs is. They give me regular reports, so all I should have to do is go to my desk in the morning and just send you the reports. But yeah. Well, I mean, the Russians used to be a thing. They're not really a thing anymore. Haven't been for a while. Wouldn't surprise me if they're slowly trickling back into the city, but we dealt them an assy blow about a year ago. Maybe longer. It's been a while now, so they might be coming back, but the Russians have been out of the picture for a while. Couldn't say much about the American or the Italian families, but they're they deal in more white collar stuff nowadays, to be honest, real estate and the like.
I always wanted to be a cop, to be honest, or a lawyer, but it just didn't work out.
I think you told me that, yeah.
It's very simple, Raya. After some time, people just look at you and they give you a note. If you're slipping Roy, you're slipping Roy. They don't give a shit about what you want to be. Me and my dad, we used to stay outside of New York, close to Central, and my dad is a mute. He doesn't talk. He can't talk. I don't know how it happened, but it was rough. But it used to be, the mafia would rule the streets. So they come to us one day and said, always gonna do something. And I did. I had to, or Dad was gonna get hurt. The second you enter that life, everyone sees you as yeah, Roy, he's the bad guy. And I kind of had to continue to, do the thing. Not proud of it, but I wish I was a lawyer, but I couldn't be. Then I went to school. Even the teacher didn't look me right, so I kind of stopped going to school. That's kind of I wish something I didn't do, which I think I will continue. Um, you know, um, I think I will continue learning from the kinfolk. But like down there, it's not like it's not like a lot of what a lot of people think. It's like yeah, black and white. There's a lot of gray there as well.
Yeah, sometimes I wonder if I would have been better off being a politician or a lawyer instead. I think the thing of being a cop is that you're kind of on the front line for a lot of these issues. You can't really change them. It's more like you contain them.
Yeah,
But that
I
also kind of, puts obviously then the cops end up being the face for a lot of the corruption that's or the socioeconomic woes that these people are under, when really that's more on the people making those decisions. It's just cops end up being on the front line for it, and they're a part of it, but it's because they're kind of like the messengers in a way, that ends up results I guess it's the term shoot the messenger literally.
can
But
I
yeah,
actually like express one opinion, which is gonna be like very long though.
sure.
Do you read comic books, Ryan?
I read a few when I was little. I never really got into them. I kind of watched movies more now, to be
Like,
honest.
I'm sure like you would know Captain America, right?
Oh yeah.
And like you would know Hydra, like what Hydra
Yeah.
stands for. So like I was reading the thing today, and I really enjoyed it because it kind of like comes to it's kind of like how I see the world as well. It's kind of weird. So like I read this like comics, and the guy who I read for like 10 years or like 15 years since I learned how to read become a what he hates. He's like he become a. It seems that the Captain America is a Hydra agent, and like there's a story about it in the past, but they, like in return he gets the hammer of the Norse god and beats the Hydra agent. There's like two Captain America now. The in that storyline, Hydra rules the America for like uh 3 months, and they shut down any crime. They control the government. They fix the education system. But like then superheroes returns the system, returns the old systems, which is not the fascism. But like they say, like yeah, crime will return because there's we're free now, but you have freedom. I'm not a politician. I don't know about politics. I just think about these things, and like I kind of realized it's about like human life. Like you're not gonna stop crime, even like we and I was a kid. I was like, I will I will be like the guy who stops crime from the inside. I was telling myself. Then I realized the more I go deep, I just couldn't get out. But like now, the age I am, I realize like it's not the cops' fault. It's not the fault of the people. It's just the freedom. Some people choose differently, and some people born into shit. And I understand there's a lot of people who is there down there evil, but like I think you do a great thing here. Like trying to put cops together and all that jazz. But like, why not? We can do the same thing for the underworld. Like we have a system for the filth that we go home, we go to the toilet, we shit, we flush. There's a system for it. Why not? We can't do the same thing for the littlest shit. We don't like some people are Fomori. You know what? Okay, we gotta deal with these motherfuckers. You have cops. You have people who looks after your stuff, and like we can't stop this, but we can sit on top of it because we are strong. That's like my whole vision when I come here. And when I found you, I was like, yeah, I see a gold mine.
I think how to put this. I think it goes without saying what my views on crime in general are. At least most forms of it. The law isn't always correct. But I'm generally not a fan of criminal activity as kind of in a general sense.
I don't know.
What do you mean when you like system? Do you mean like a system for crime or
Like, there is a system for things, but usually it's more like normal life where there are rules, and when you break them, sometimes you feel like better, like you feel stronger when you broke the rules. It's kind of like I think I represent myself. Express myself differently. I apologize. I mean, it's like so like there used to be a system of respect in where I come from, or like there's a guy who wants to join a mob, they like kind of show like give some kind of respect to the the boss of the place, boss of the city. It was some old town, but someone poisoned the boss with the gift. It's just like there is no system, but what I'm trying to say is like I think the underworld will always be there, and it's just like Luke Cage, like in the Netflix show, he can't stop underworld, so he sits on top of it. He becomes a criminal to stop bad, even more crazy people than him. We can shoot people, and like I can maybe try to become a cop with this. I don't think I will be with this, current state of affairs that I have. But sometimes you learn some things you don't learn from the cops. Like, yeah, cops know a lot of stuff. I noticed they're in this stuff, but like when you're in, you may know different stuff. Sometimes you may learn who's, maybe the cops won't tell you who's in to take money, but underworld will. Like, it's just let's sit on top of them. You decide the rules. You decide the systems. You decide who goes in and who goes out. If we, sit on top of it. Again, this was my idea, but yeah.
Hmm. Um, I think you're. I think you're. I think the state. I think your statement that crime always exists is correct. Because if crime were to ever be wiped out, then there wouldn't really be any need for law enforcement or the police, or in some cases even the military. But it's a very slippery slope to walk down.
Yeah.
It's a very dangerous thing because part of the problem is there is a market for atrocity. If I haven't seen the Luke Cage show, which I probably should because apparently it's pretty good. But and I get what the films, the show's trying to state, and that there's not always a right or wrong answer. There's not always a good solution. There's not always a black and white solution. But the problem with that particular example, the problem with that show's narrative is that okay, if Luke Cage stops doing all these things, like he decides to be the sane actor, the rational actor in the crime world, and he decides to stamp out all these these worse crimes, these stuff like human trafficking and particularly dangerous substances, that sort of thing. Assassinations. Keeps it more low key, keeps it more tame. The problem is there are going to be people who then see, well, that's an open market for trafficking, that's an open market for drug abuse, that's an open market for these other things. But specifically because Cage isn't doing them, because Cage has created that effectively a vacancy in the underworld market, as it were. People now see, well, there's money to be made here because it's been removed, but that means the powers that were running it before are now not there. So it's I know crime will ever go away, but I always work to contain it. I think I said recently it was kind of like swatting flies. There's always going to be flies, but you still swat them. You still, when there's an infection or infestation, there'll always be disease, there'll always be illness, but you still go to the doctors, you still get yourself checked out. It's a difficult situation on a macro scale to resolve.
Don't you think it would be useful to have imagine you're a cop and the mob, like the toughest mob in the city, is someone that you know. Like, wouldn't that be cool for you? Just asking.
To be honest, it makes me distinctly uncomfortable because
because you're a cop, right?
Yeah, because I'm a cop. So, like, if I know this big bad and we're having dinner or we're having, like, a drink or something, I'm like, oh, that's weird. That's awkward. Like, I should probably be arresting that guy. I should probably have him over a barrel. Because, I mean, the only, like, that's the thing. It's the romanticization of crime in media. Like, no, criminals suck. Like, I don't think I've ever met. Like, I've met criminals who are good people in the sense that their situation is clearly horrible.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, like a lot of vagrants, for example, are criminals in that a lot of them get mixed up in drug abuse or have to engage in petty crime to get by or more serious crime. But it's like, there are mitigating factors there, and and outside of that context, they are otherwise good people. But when you're talking about stuff like the mafia, I mean, these are organized criminal institutions. Most of these people do not have to make that choice. These people are making these people have turned it into a business. It's no longer a matter of survival. It's a matter of, I want to make more money. And I'm willing to do very bad things to just make more money. It's institutionalized crime, which is there's plenty of that already, but yeah, the more conventional forms that we understand is like crime families and various different criminal organizations. They are generally, almost always, because I'm sure there's an exception to every rule, but most of them are made up of bad people. Most of them are just bad people. It's they traffic people to sell them off. They exploit people. They get people addicted to horrible substances, so they can, and then again, like, then these people get so addicted to that substance that they then run out of money, they're made homeless, and they're still addicted to the substance, so they still they literally scrounge for whatever they can get just so they can pay for it. I've had to deal with a lot of drug addicts in my time. It's always grim. It's yeah, it's and it sucks because I'd like to say like these are good people, but then I can't say I could ever trust them because they're addicted to drugs. Like I many times have had to deal with people who have lied to me when they were undergoing rehab and it's I would even say it's common for me, to be honest. I'm not sure if I'm just unlucky, but because they feel like they need this substance, I have been lied to so many times just so they can get the money they need either from me or from somebody else, or to mislead me into looking somewhere else while they get a bunch of drugs, just so they can get those drugs, just so they can get those substances, because they're so addicted to them. And that's not the sort of business that good people engage with. I mean, one could make a comparison to smoking and cigarettes, and I'm in partial agreement, particularly considering how cigarette companies never had to face any consequences for straight up gaslighting the entire country, and how they just lied to everybody about how cigarettes were actually good for people when it was giving them fucking lung cancer. But it's at least one of these things, at least the risks are labeled, and it's made as a choice, at least initially. To be fair, a lot of the time it isn't presented as a choice initially to other people who are dealing in illegal substances, so that's not as apt. But at least there's some oversight, even if it's not much. At least there's something. And that's kind of what part of my problem. That's why I'm so. It's because I remember a glasswalker once came up to me and wanted to they wanted to engage in criminal activity, or they wanted to have influence in the world of crime, and I was very distinctly uncomfortable with that because I'm like, a lot of this feels, one, it's just kind of ethically wrong, and two, a lot of it just fuels the entity that we're fighting. Like drug, like I would challenge somebody to prove to me that criminal organizations do not cause a significant amount of worm taint.
They do.
Quite a while.
They do more than many things.
Yeah, I would. It's easier to get rid of, but the damage is more severe because because I've dealt with a fair amount of I've dealt with worm tainted figures inside the police force, so it's it doesn't always just come down to like crime is bad, like we can be bad too, and one just uses all institutions, but with crime, it's because of what crime is, it's just easier, and a lot of the people involved are more susceptible to begin with. So it's just so, like, if I was to ever allow, like, or to be okay with a Gara engaging in this sort of thing, I'd need to know that it is genuinely helping our cause, and what's happening is as tame as it can be, and there is a heavy hand being applied to those who don't abide by those rules. And I mean, I'd still have to go after people in that organization because I still got a job to do. I can't just sit on the sidelines. I can't do that. If I don't do my job, then I get fired, and then
that's not cool for us.
Everybody just kind of loses out on that. So it's kind of at that point, it's kind of a balancing act. But at the same time, I can't. I have to genuinely go after people. I can't just laze around. I mean, it could be argued I could get away with it, but honestly, I don't really want to even take that risk at all, and I don't think I ever could. I think the most I could ever offer. I mean, like Carl, for an example. Carl's like part of a fucking gang. I had to go to his fucking friends and say, "Hey, he's helping me with an investigation," which actually didn't go over as badly as I expected it to.
Wait, what happened?
Carl, you know Carl, one of the Cubs?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. He was like part of a street gang or something.
Mm-hmm.
But I told him, like, if you want to do stuff, like you can do it, but you're not going to do it anywhere near where I operate. That can't happen. Because I got a job to do. I have obligations. I kind of built my entire career on like a massive organized crime bust and anti-corruption within the police force. So I can't sit around playing hypocrite because that will get found out, and the worm still has its pawns inside the police force that are waiting for me to make a mistake, to get complacent, to overreach. I think that's half the problem. It's not even just ethical, it's practical. If I allow like crime to get too rampant, or that a connection can be built between me and another person engaging in crime, that is exceedingly problematic and would cost me and accept a lot of influence in law enforcement, because I think I'm really the only guy, to be honest. And some girl I don't think would care at all, because they're like, why are you even bothering engaging in mortal shit? But it's gotten us a lot of fucking results. At least in but as far as I'm concerned, my method's kind of tried and proven, like a dozen times over at this point.
Mm-hmm.
It's gotten a lot of shit done. Particularly, I mean, it's New York. Like, you want me to not engage with the model populace? Like, okay, like we're kind of surrounded by them on all sides. I guess you can hide in a corner, but like you can live under a rock, but that's not gonna work. It might work on other places, but that's just not how it works here.
This is also like a Bonar sept. Bonars are always committed to humanity.
Yeah, you guys are one of the two big city tribes.
I am. It's strange because I wanted to be, get her famous, but didn't work out.
Well, hey, you're happy being a Bonar, right?
I am, but I don't think my mom is. She kind of smiles when he says that.
Well, I guess that's a shame for her. I mean,
he nods. Probably shame for her.
But and if I'm a parent, I get that. But at the end of the day, it is what it is.
It's like I don't think she wanted me to be a Get a Ferris. I think she just wanted me to die. I think. Yeah, I think she just wanted me to die.
Oh, well, in which case she doesn't really have my sympathy anymore. But yeah, that kind of kills that.
It's that I don't understand. Like I was having this fight and she was like trying to distract me. I know a lot of cubs of that tribe gets harsh challenges, but like we were like mostly you fight with like two stuff in the pit, but then she was trying to distract me, like that. I don't think that's part of the challenge, but she did it, and guess what? Good job to her, I guess. But I ran away. I said, like I'm gonna die probably. I said it's better to live and fight tomorrow. Tactical retreat is not dumb, in my opinion.
No, yeah, retreating is not the same thing as fleeing.
And then she's like, "Oh no, you retreated. Fuck off. You can only be a Bonar." And I said, "Oh, if I can only be a Bonar, then I can only be a Bonar." and then she get even more mad. But I just don't understand her. I don't give a damn about her anymore. I guess the I don't. I know a lot of Bornars are weird. I come here, try to get into stuff, but like half of them are lazy. But there's the other half as well who are very happy about what they do. So I don't know. It's a weird thing. It is a weird thing. I I'm very sad about this sept issues, but I don't see a lot of active people except you, Raya, and the Cubs.
Yeah.
Do you know like where's the rest of the people?
No, really, I don't really know what they're doing, to be honest. Like I wanted to get Ksenia more involved in stuff, and she never really did get involved. Which,
It's sad. Yeah.
yeah, it's yeah, we've been a bit haven't necessarily been as active as we should have been. That almost led to issues between us and the Rat King because we didn't really uphold our own end of the bargain until we found an alternative to work with. So we need to, yeah, we need to be more active. I mean, I'm currently just waiting back on my own people. Like I've taken action. I'm just waiting for the results.
So do I, Raya. So do I.
Yeah, I just don't know what everybody else is doing right now. Yeah, it's a bit of a bit touch and go, but it's always been touch and go here. It doesn't really surprise me.
Who?
I say it's always been touch and go here. It doesn't really surprise me.
Touch and go. What does that mean, Raya?
Oh, it kind of means things have always been a bit doubtful and uncertain.
Oh, okay.
It's always been a bit, we've always been a bit close to the cliff edge, as it were. We've always rode the line. We've always kind of, taken, we've always taken actions which are quite risky. That's kind of what it means. Things when something's touch and go, it's a little bit risky. There's a little bit there's a little bit of doubt as to the outcome. But yeah, that's kind of how things have always been here. We're in the middle of New York, so a lot of weird shit here. Like, I've met some weird fucking people.
Like who?
I'm currently acquainted with what I think is like... I don't know. I think they might be mages? I don't know.
Kind of looks like he's a bit like mages.
Yeah, they're like mortals that can do actual magic.
That's crazy.
Well, I know I've met a couple. I know a couple. I guess I'm on good terms with them, more or less. Haven't seen them in a while. But there are a few people I know who I don't really know what they are, but they trouble me because they seem to imply that they know a lot more about things than what is apparent. I'm not entirely certain. But yeah, and I don't know if they're supernaturals or not. I actually don't. I've been using my powers. They register as human, but I know my powers aren't always reliable. Because it registered a mage as human once, which didn't make any sense. So I think they might be mages, and they haven't displayed any. The part of the problem is they haven't displayed any like supernatural tricks or like just told me what they are. It's possible they're just humans that have like not forgotten everything from like a delirium once. and they've it's kind of like some weird coping group. I don't really know.
That's scary.
Yeah, I don't know what they are. Like, because they might be mages, and to be fair, they probably are. Because I've never met a human, even in this city. Like, I've never actually met like a mortal. What would you say, like a human, like a hunter or anything like that? You know, I haven't met anyone who came at us with silver bullets. If you know what I mean.
You know, it's like I hope nobody came us with a silver bullet, Raya.
I don't know. I fucking die.
I don't want to die, Raya. Like,
I know the person coming at us with silver bullets would die. They'd die.
Yeah. Okay. That's understandable. Okay.
But
okay. Like, I don't want to die.
Yeah. I'm like, just, you know, sometimes I kind of let certain things to these people. I just kind of, I don't say anything, but sometimes I'll just kind of how to say, come at them with something out of the left field and see how they react.
Mm-hmm.
One of them did ask if I asked if they were a vampire once, and that was really weird. That was hilarious. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck that was about, because I never asked them that, so that was strange.
This sounds strange.
That was a weird. And she ridiculed it, of course, but it was weird that she just came out of that at all. I think it might have just been banter though. It was weird.
I hope it's a banter. Like,
I certainly hope it's banter, because if not, there's going to be problems. Like,
I don't think we like vampires.
Oh no! I kind of implied to her, like, we don't, you know, I don't like. That's one. They're not a thing. But if they were, I'm pretty sure they've been like the bad guys in every form of popular media outside of Twilight, and who the fuck likes Twilight? So, you know, kind of speaks for itself.
I don't.
That's what I mean. It kind of speaks for itself. They're the baddies. They've always been the baddies. They make good baddies in movies. So let's just keep them as baddies and not, you know, just in case for some reason she does think they're real, which you know, I'm a bit sketchy on. I don't know if she does or doesn't. She is weird. I mean, there's something up with them for sure. That much I know. There's something up with them. They're not worm tainted. In fact, they're less worm tainted than the average person. So I don't think they're necessarily they're not like our direct enemies in that sense. But it's weird. It's really weird. I'm just gonna kind of keep an eye on them. They, to be honest, from all accounts, they seem to like me as a person. So I'm kind of just happy for them to like me as a person and for me to be okay with them and just leave it at that. Because I don't really want to get involved in that clusterfuck, if you know what I mean. Like, that seems like a hot mess waiting to happen.
It does sound like that one, Raya. You are completely right about that one.
It's really, yeah. I just thought I'd bring it up just because of how weird it is. It's not really an issue for us. It's just a really strange set of events that imply a lot of suspicious things, but there's no outward evidence of it. So yeah, it's a very it's weird. That's all I can say. It's weird, but there's nothing bad there.
When you say like it's weird, it's like sometimes we find, you know, something weird in that place, and then yeah, it's weird. But like this is kind of like mysteriously weird.
Yeah, this was like a Scooby-Doo movie.
Right.
Just waiting for someone to take the mask off.
He laughs with like a small laugh. He gives like a small laugh.
I can tell you this: they definitely sense our rage. They can feel it like a normal person. So, of course, I can't tell how much of that is a lie. So, there's that.
How do you? Is there like what like? How do we deal with these type of things if we ever come up with those things?
Personally, In this case, they're just a bunch of people who seem really weird, so I just talk to them and treat them like people. They seem to be fine with me. As for like other supernaturals, I don't know. I've met basically all of them. I even met some leeches I didn't immediately kill. Although that was a really long time ago when I was a cub, and the city was going to shit. And apparently, one faction of leeches wanted this other faction of leeches dead, and we were like, well, we just want to kill all of you, so we'll do it. They're also massacring a bunch of mortals. So we were kind of obligated to kill them from every angle. But if I ever see a leech, they're dead. That's pretty much the only exception I've ever made for leeches, and I don't intend to ever make it again. As for mages and the Fae, well, one Fae approached me with a business arrangement once. It was more like a tit for tat deal. Like, I'll do you this favor, you do me this favor. I'll do you this favor, you do me this favor, and I'm like, sure. And I still haven't cashed that in. So I have that. I mean, mages, basically every supernatural knows not to be on this fucking sept. We did have a changeling show up on this sept once.
That's weird.
Yeah, she showed up because apparently she figured out that someone she'd just met was one of us. And he just kind of vanished. He went into like the bathroom and vanished, and then like, but he'd left his fucking phone behind because he's not a very smart man. And then she was like, "That's weird. He kind of left his jacket and phone here and hasn't come out for 30 fucking minutes." So she eventually just lost her patience, went in to check on him, didn't find anything. Was like, "That's weird. I'm gonna go to Central Park," and then we were like, "Fucking excuse me."
How about no?
She thought he was in danger. She was right. We actually found that he had been killed. In the place that he had got trapped crossing the gauntlet and had died from it.
Deep breath, because like death is not good, man. Like that is not cool. It's like it's sad that someone just died.
I don't know why he chose to shift there, like why he chose to go over. He was like in the middle of an urban area. It was, it's
not very clever.
You can't. There's a reason why usually when we go across the gauntlet, we do it from the from the sept. But that was kind of sad. I mean, it was depressing. It was a real shame because wasn't exactly a bad guy. I mean, we had our beef. He was a Shadow Lord. I was a Silver Fang. He wanted to kill this Black Spiral kid, and I'm like, could we not? Because they're helping us. And I kind of promised that I wouldn't do that, and if I was to just let you do that, that's just me being an asshole. Like, I'm doing a loophole thing, and I don't do that. I don't do loopholes. So we had like some beef there. But otherwise we worked together just fine.
Was he like an Adrian?
No, he was a Cleof. That's why I told him, like, this isn't really a negotiation at this point. I'm saying it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Like, it took him a while to kind of get that, but I mean, we're creatures of rage. It happens. We get a bit heated sometimes. It's understandable.
Riled up.
Yeah, we get a bit riled up, and obviously, from his perspective, like, we've gotten what we can out of what is a labeled enemy of our kind, so let's get rid of him. But I'm kind of like, well, this person actually seems to be willing to turncoat on their opponent on the spirals, and seems to be doing so earnestly to the point where they're willing to risk their lives over it. That something could be made of that. And I should just bring it up right now. Marlene is the second of one of those people, and she's reintegrated back into the nation. She was a Glasswalker kin that ended up becoming a Black Spiral because her brother, one of her brothers, turned to the worm. He was a Garu and basically took his brother and sister with him. Then that relationship spiraled into abuse. I don't really want to say too much about that. We captured the kinfolk brother, because she had two brothers and one of them was kinfolk. We caught him and we found out about this spiral and what he was doing. We found out that he was having his sister make some sort of horrible substance that was being force fed to kidnapped victims. And that they were sacrificing people to the worm in some sort of ritual underneath a park on a disused subway train.
Not happy about that.
No, we stopped it. I'm actually perusing all the other parks in the city though, because I want to make sure they're not doing the same thing in other parks. Because I think this was some sort of experiment. I don't think this was actually. I don't think this is the end of what was happening. I think this was actually the start of something. I want to make sure it's not wider because we took out the pack. Or we took out two Garu. I say two Garu. They're not Garu. They're scum. But we took out two of them. We took out the brother, and we took out one of his packmates. Marlene, we took back with us for questioning, and to see if she'd be willing to turncoat on us. She cooperated. She underwent the same procedure, the same life-threatening procedure as her brother, to cleanse herself of the worm and to actually help us. We kept an eye. She was obviously, her movement around the city was extremely limited, and she was kept under more or less constant surveillance. So there was that. She seemed to be progressing along really well, but her brother couldn't really cope with the fact that he had caused his brother's death, and he ended up committing suicide, and we couldn't save him in time. That one stung a bit. That was a pretty tough one. Because they were both honestly trying to earn their way back into Gaia's good graces, and one of them just couldn't cope with the struggle, and he ended his own life.
I feel there's a lot of Black Spiral dancers who doesn't know and see this as the bad guys.
I mean, these were just kinfolk. They were just. I'm not even sure if they had a choice.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of spirals who doesn't have a choice as well, right?
As you said, like shitty situation, right? Like in regards to crime, this isn't too different from that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, your tribe really didn't take kindly to the idea because, well, most of the victims of these rituals were mortals. One of them was a Bone Aura kinfolk, and that obviously.
Yeah.
And I can't. I'm not gonna blame. I'm not gonna judge your kinfolk for like wanting vengeance or justice for that. But in my mind, we had killed the perpetrators of it, and those that were otherwise associated or aiding and abetting, either being forced to or not, have at least attempted to do some good. And I was trying to get her to do some good for your tribe and your kinfolk. But the last remaining member of that pack tracked her down, attempted to execute her with about a dozen kinfolk. Went into a homeless shelter and mowed the whole thing, mowed them all down. No kinfolk, I think. It was just mortals. I think, no, there are a few kinfolk. Mainly children of Gaia.
Roy takes a deep breath. He's not happy about it. Like, he's giving that look like,
It's, But I mean, I'm not gonna. I mean, she can be held accountable for aiding with this wormish act and being a Black Sparrowkin, but I wouldn't hold her accountable for that. Like, no, she didn't. It was the choice of that individual and those other kinfolk to come down there and start gunning down random fucking humans. Yeah.
It kind of shows why enemy is bad and you should fight it.
Yeah,
And like when you have war.
When it came to Marlene, I mean, one, Marlene actually cares and is trying, and has actually dedicated herself to redeeming herself and being a decent person and helping Gaia again. Now that she actually has, a choice. But I really wanted to send a message because we really get opportunities to actually take something back, to like, instead of killing something, like actually purify it, like actually get a real victory instead of just cutting losses. Like we take a lot of things out of the world, but are not really adding much good to it. And I wanted to add something good to the world. I thought this would be a real opportunity. Not just, I mean, it's not just symbolic. It's an opportunity for people, or rather, it's an opportunity for those that have been forcibly placed into the life of Worm, that if you come to us in good faith and you put in the effort, we will work with you. Rather than just, you come to us, we get what we want, and then you die. Just been our modus operandi for a while, but it means nobody fucking comes to us when they need our help. Like, even if there are people out there who are abused, who are in desperate need of help, and even if they are brave enough to actually break that cycle and come to us to begin with, certainly not going to if they know we're just going to kill them.
It sends a message.
It's meant to send a message to reluctant enemies that they can be our friends if they're willing to try and do the right thing. And I don't expect like a lot of people to come forward, because I think that would be unreasonable, but it means we can actually start taking back what the Worms attempted to steal from everybody else.
A lot of people, I think, forget, Raya, that it's hard to be a good person in the world.
It's
like,
it's very hard to forgive.
It is hard to forgive, but at the same time, I feel like it is hard to be a good person in the world anymore. It's not what it used to be.
I don't think it's ever been that way, to be honest.
I think we kind of need to, how do I say this? I think like people forget that like road to like having it's just hard to be responsible and good. It's not easy. Taking responsibility is not easy.
Yeah, it's
easy.
easier to cut corners than it is to go the long way around. It's always going to be easier to be a bad person, because being a bad person requires you to make a lot of easy decisions.
Exactly, and it's a lot easier to just make comments about things that you didn't do.
Yeah, it's things, if you don't care, a lot of these moral decisions are quite simple. But if you do care, well, suddenly there's a whole range of ethical dilemmas you have to consider, and that's
not easy to handle.
Yeah, it's, if for people that do take up these positions of responsibility, it's a constant thing they're gonna have to deal with.
Yeah.
And for some people it's too much. For some of us, it's still hard, but we can work it. We can do it. And yeah, as you say, it's hard to be decent, but I feel like we have to be. That's now I'm not saying we should be exploited, but we should try to do the right thing where we can. Because obviously we have to make a lot of hard, morally grey decisions. But where we can, I'd rather us be fair and just where we can be, because that's what separates us from
The
the
other
enemy. The enemy doesn't care. The enemy really doesn't have to fucking care. The enemy kind of bases its entire existence on not caring. So when I see us not caring as well, that kind of rings wrong to me, because I feel like, well, we should be caring. And I feel like a lot of us just kind of act more out of self-preservation, or misguided zealotry more than anything else. Like it's like our own zealotry is used as an excuse to not care, and I'm like, that's kind of the same thing that our enemy does. Like, of course, our enemy is delusional, but it doesn't help. It's the same concept of, my God says I'm right, so fuck you. But, in our cases, that's actually valid to a large extent, but you can't use it as an excuse to not care about the moral consequences of your actions, because then that zealotry is just a mask. It's not actually there. You don't actually believe if you don't care. At least that's my opinion. And I think some people are willing to make greater sacrifices or take more extreme steps than others and still care. I don't want to say like people who make violent decisions unnecessarily don't care, but I think too many of us don't. Yeah.
There's a lot of people who forget things, or who forgets why we fight.
Yeah.
You fight to win the war, not just to kill things.
I think a lot of them would say they are fighting to win the war. They just think that's encompassed almost entirely by killing the enemy, when it's not. It's just not how the objectives of war work. It's not based around just killing people. It never has been. Our war probably even less so than others. Yeah.
He nods.
I feel like I'm kind of treading ground, so I'll kind of leave the conversation there.
No, I think you're right. The killing the enemy, like, I think as a rune, I think it's important for me to be good at combat, but at the same time, I need to understand it. Like, killing shouldn't be always the choice that I should make, because I should also be merciful when I can be.
Yeah, I think for Arunes and Philodoxes, the issue is more complicated, because, for the Philodox, it's fairly obvious. It's because we kind of adjudicate matters like this, but for the Arunes, it's, as you say, you gotta know when to pull that trigger. You're gonna be running into that. You're gonna be running into those violent decisions more often than the rest of us. And it's your job to kill, yet sometimes you will be presented with situations where you shouldn't.
Yeah.
But you're going to be expected to do it, and that's... Yeah, it's not easy. And
people can find easy ways, like we said, they can find easy ways. They always do. If they want to, they can.
Yeah, and if you could,
shouldn't.
Yeah, but I mean, if someone can do the right thing and cut corners at the same time, well, I mean, that's the ideal situation. But
yeah,
most of the time, that's not going to be the case.
True. Right? Who is your packmate?
Oh, God, I haven't seen him in a while either.
He nods.
But yeah, it's Garm. He's a Get of Fenrir. He's a Fiage.
He's a Getter Ferris.
Doesn't really have the same ideas as me, but we get along just fine. So yeah.
He nods. What type of ideas he has?
I don't know. I consider him fairly conventional, Fenrir.
He nods in a surprise. Okay, that's good. That's good. Conventional.
Yeah, you know, stern, headstrong, direct, honorable, but sometimes a little bit tactless. But to be honest, for a Fenrir, he is pretty tactful. Probably comes with being a Fiage.
So what's your pack stands for?
Our pack?
Like, what is the goal, right? Like, isn't that what it should be? Like the pack should have a goal or something?
Our packs? You know, I'm not sure if I could say our pack was based around any particular ideal. Rather, it was a gathering of individuals that weren't actually centered around similar ideas. Before it was me, there was someone else who was a part of the pack. She was my cousin. She died very shortly after our pack was formed.
Rest in peace, Ryan.
Thanks. But even we had different thoughts on how things should work. What we kind of just based ourselves on being around the best at what we do, just in general. It being Garou, that we have all these different ideas, yet we're still able to work together, and we're just stronger for it. You know, we're the Lion patrons us. And if you want Lion to patronize you, you should be the damn best, and we are. And I haven't. Well, I mean, we're kind of the only pack on Sept right now. We haven't had a lot of competition, which you know, I'm a proud member of Lion, but someone's got to keep us on our toes. They're just making this easy for us. It's not exactly. I'd prefer us to be held to a standard. Then we can say, look at the standard. Look at how damn good we are at our jobs. That's kind of almost feels like we're the only guys doing our jobs, and that's not something to be proud of. That's just an expectation.
I think like there's not a lot of people to be. Like I didn't see a lot of people. Like I would be happy if I set a pack if I can. Like I didn't see a lot of people around.
Yeah.
Like shrugs.
There isn't that many people around right now, and to be honest, that is a problem. That's not a good thing. But I guess we'll see in time.
I mean, I hope things will be best, but you're right, Raya. Like people should be active.
Yeah.
I think this is the activity problem, not like pet problem.
I mean, maybe I am wrong. Maybe people have taken the necessary actions, and I'm just not seeing it right now. But that's not what I'm witness to. So maybe they just have. Maybe they have done what's necessary, and I just haven't seen it. But we'll see. We'll see.
He nods.
Anyway.
Hopefully we will.
Yeah. Hopefully. Our goals are pretty clear from here on out, so stop the marine park people and move ever forward.
Marine park people makes me on edge. I want to make sure the marine park people problems handled.
Yeah.
They should be handled immediately.
Well, right now, we're just getting the information we need to act on it.
Raya, I should go near my dad. So, thank you for this food, by the way. Like, yeah, thank you a lot. But if there's anything I can help, just let me know.
Yeah, sure. Feel free. Anytime, dude.
Thank you a lot. Like, I just want to make sure we, fucking do our job. He kind of like says with a smile.
No, I understand. I'll see you around, man.
See you around, Ryan. And he gets up very slowly, and like he goes to near his family.
Yeah, and I think we're good to call the scene there.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Play for playing. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you all next time.